first company presenting today is Handiscover. So I guess let's see their video.
Hi guys, my name is Sebastian. I'm the founder of Handiscover, and this is Theo, my son. He's 16 years old, has a muscle wasting disease, and is a wheelchair user, as you see. So it's through him and through our travel as a family that we came to realize quite fast that discovering the world is quite challenging, and daily life too, when you are a wheelchair user. So the mission with Handiscover has been from start to enable the world by democratizing accessibility data and using technology to do that. As you are well aware here, I guess, bad accessibility data really is a hinder in daily life. 2/3 of disabled users claim that they lack information when planning a trip, or that they are facing physical barriers when traveling outside from their home. So that's really the core thing that we are trying to solve at Handiscover, because using our own questionnaire and standard of accessibility, we collect, we verify, and we classify very granular data about accessibility. And we do that, so looking at the details about accessibility by using a QA team that validates the data, and by an own classification to classify the data.
Cool, thank you so much. And I guess without further ado, introducing Sebastian Aschenbo, who is the founder of Handiscover. And so, judges, I'll take it away with questions.
Sebastian, what's the potential revenue model? What on the question? Is it on the questionnaire and who you're selling it to, or explain the business model?
Yeah, I think the video is a bit cut, to be honest, because I don't think it was the 3 minutes of the video. But yeah, I mean, the business model-wise, we have to. I mean, first of all, we started as an accommodation booking website, so in vacation rentals, and then later in hotels. We are linked to Amadeus, so we are integrated with our supply, and there we are using a basic traditional commission-based model for so earning money on the bookings that happen on the website. But what we've been focusing on lately in the last 12 months, both due to COVID, but also due to our, we had that focus before, is to actually help businesses, both in travel, but also outside travel, to assess and validate their accessibility data, and also educating them. And that business is more of a business-to-business one, which is a subscription-based model. So basically, we have companies, anything from hotel chains or shopping malls or offices or stadiums, basically paying a yearly subscription for using our accessibility management system, and getting access to this accessibility management program, where we both help them manage their data, structuring their data, sharing their data back, so that they are able to communicate their accessibility to their own users, and also educate their staff. Okay, so two business models.
Okay, Ivor here. From looking at your website, Sebastian, I can see you're also involved in training as well. You offer training services to hotels, and for us, it's very important to get down to the detail, get down to the data, how granular the data is about accessibility, because we know that people have different accessibility requirements. How granular is your data? Can people get right down to the last centimeter and find out how much space there is?
Yeah, that's an example of basically, space between the bed and the wall, for example, or things like this. But I mean, we do not work only with mobility. I mean, that's important. We work with all disabilities, so both mobility, visual impairment, hearing impairment, cognitive disease, and even allergies. Actually, we address it. It's not yet live on our marketplace, but it's live in our accessibility management system. But our main philosophy is that that is really important, is the core of our DNA, is that we are not there to judge our customers. We are there to help them assess their accessibility and understand where they stand, and eventually even helping them to improve it. But we are not judging, saying that something is right or wrong. So our focus is really on quality, granularity of information, and also classifying for different level of needs within the same disability. Because we are against the principle of putting people in a box, whether they are have a cognitive disability or visual impairment or mobility issue, because their needs are very different depending on. And my son is the best case. He has a muscle wasting disease. He uses an electric wheelchair, but he can still walk a little bit. So, and people think they see Jesus when they see him arriving in his power wheelchair and then walking, because there is a discrepancy between the concept of being able to walk and being able to, or having to use an electric wheelchair, and so that's really what we're focusing on, is try to help understanding that there are different needs within each disability.
Right.
Hey, this is Toby here. I have a question. I'm sorry, did I speak over someone?
No.
All right. My question is around quality of the data. You mentioned, I believe briefly, that's something that you're concerned with or focused on. And so how are you ensuring quality, and how would you scale that?
So first, for us, first of all, we do not believe in anyone else's data. So we do not pull any data from anyone else. We only rely on our own data. When it comes to our quality assurance, it's based on, it's a bit of a secret sauce. So it's not so much I will share in a too wide environment, but I'm happy to share more details in private rooms, because there are some direct or indirect competitors in the room. So, data and quality of data is 100% focus for us. And when it comes to your question around scalability, we are working on technology that will enable us basically to scale from. Today we have over 35,000 places that are assessed for accessibility. Our goal is not to scale to 100,000, but to tens of millions of places. So that's the kind of technology that we are working on to develop in the coming 2 years. Our ambition is really to map the whole world, not only within travel, but really assess accessibility for any kind of business and any kind of disability.
That's great. And what's your plan for just getting from 0 to 1? Like, I appreciate the vision, but a lot of times, that tens of millions mapping the whole world, that's great. But how do you get this snowball to turn over the first time, getting from that 35,000 to the, 350,000 or whatever, like that first sort of turn of the flywheel, if you'll pardon all the colloquialisms.
But it's a good question. It's basically our business to business project is coming into play, because we realized we could not afford to, on our own, finance the scaling of our marketplace, having to, classify hundreds of thousands of places at our own cost. So for our future, we clearly link the scale of our supply to our accessibility management program, where basically we will only onboard customers. So in travel, it can be hotel chains, for example, but we'll decide to use our accessibility management system to handle and manage their data. We have good discussions with pretty big companies, so we are quite confident that it can happen.
Can you share a little bit more around your training modules and topics?
So we are at the early stage on that one. So, but we recruited over 6 months ago in our team Magnus Berglund, who was the accessibility director at the Scandic Hotel, which is the leading hotel chain in Nordic, and which has won all the prizes for best accessibility in the hotel industry. So he was there and built their basically leadership in the accessibility area for hotels in the last 17 years. And basically, it's with him we are now building different education. So both in our core accessibility management program, we have quite a basic accessibility and disability education, and then we are building step by step also much more granular ones specific to different to different staff within an organization. So, for example, when you're a hotel, it's good for everybody to understand how to, to talk to someone coming in a wheelchair. Typically, as most of you probably know, if you come with you sit in a wheelchair, the girl at the reception, she will talk to the guy behind you, and not to you, assuming that you are not able to pay or to answer. So those kind of like basic stuff, but there are much more detailed things that we are educating into. Anything from like the hotel staff that are cleaning the room, understanding how to unfold the sheets, or to how high to put the shower. I'm not sure the name, the word in English, but the shower. If it's highest up,
Rod.
Yeah, exactly. So those kind of small stuff, which are very basically specific to different working staff in a hotel, and then say the equivalent in the shopping mall or in a shop, in a restaurant, and so on, basically. So we're working on the customized trading.
Yeah, and as you look at your model for training, just keep in mind quick hit opportunities. I oftentimes think about when we're doing training in hotels, what's most important is our daily stand-up. So being able to have that quick hit 2-minute reminder or training, along with some of the elongated, more seat time training as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. There we have a lot to learn in terms of high-end e-learning techniques and so on. There are a lot of projects to develop in the coming months around that.
Excellent.
Anyone else have any questions? Igor, you're on mute.
Sorry, I just throw this in once because it's going to come up again probably in many issues here. What about COVID? What about the coronavirus? How is that going to affect your business?
Yeah, well, for the marketplace, pretty much basically all our bookings were canceled last year. So, but in a way, I'm thankful for that, because it gave us a good opportunity to focus our whole team on the development of our accessibility management program, which was in the plan, but which we never managed to prioritize really in the last years. Now we had a good excuse to do that, and from the beginning we developed that one for the hotel industry more specifically, because it's where, from the interactions with hotels, that the idea came up. But at the same time, in Q3, when we saw that COVID was making a comeback, we also saw that there was opportunity to basically use all the tools and all the thinking and the expertise that we'll build in other verticals, basically, and that we could adapt. We've been adapting all our standards to specific verticals, but it was relatively simple when you've been dealing with hotels, which is basically some of the most complicated buildings you can handle, because they are both restaurants and rooms and different concepts. So compared to that, building a standard for offices or shopping malls was pretty easy. We could reuse 70-80% of the work that had been done. So it's why now basically in Q1, I can't say we've been selling the accessibility management program to some hotels, but mostly outside the hotel industry, so in offices and stadiums and shopping malls and stuff like this. So
I had one more question. I had one more question, then we have to end this. So can you share how many at your peak, in terms of how many bookings did you have? Are you able to share that?
No, we don't share those stuff in such wide.
Okay. All right.
Events.
All right. Okay. I think we'll. So, Sren, any question?
Well, nothing for me, and I think we'll wrap it up there and go to the next video. Sebastian,
Thank you very much, Sebastian.